Hi everyone and welcome to the Outspoken Speak Club's Talkalot session. Now the Talkalot session is personally one of my favorite sessions for the Speak Club's meeting that we have organized. And this session is where each child is given 1 to 1.5 minutes to share their perspectives and their ideas on a given topic. And this week, I think we're looking at a topic that is very interesting, especially for all those of you who like playing video games. And our topic this evening is, should boys and girls of all ages be encouraged to play video games? So do stay tuned in and pay heed and listen to what our youngsters have to share with you about this very interesting topic. To kickstart off our Talkalot session, we have Khalid. Khalid, would you like to go first?
Yeah, teacher.
Go ahead.
Thank you, teacher. I admire this opportunity. I 50% agree and disagree with this topic because there are positive and negative effects of playing video games. It improves problem solving, skills, and logic. It may help ease anxiety and depression. Negative effects of playing video games. Video games make people more violent and decreases ability of concentration. Children can get addicted. It also increases depression and anxiety. Even though children admire video games should be limited. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Khalid. Indeed, it seems like a lot of things, as always, have a good and a bad side to it. So thank you for illustrating that for us. Niksha, would you like to go next?
Yes, Miss. So, I agree and I disagree on this topic, 50-50. I agree because playing video games has a lot of advantages too. Like there are lot of educational games where children can be improved too. So playing video games is also a good thing, and studying all time is really bad. Like you should have something to do when you're free. So I admire word games and stuff for me to improve my vocabulary. And I disagree on this topic because most children, they admire video games. So when they play video games time to time, they get addicted to it. And some children, they might get diseases in their brain, and they might not get close with their parents. They wouldn't talk much, and they would just concentrated on the video game. So I agree and disagree 50-50 on this topic. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Niksha. And who would like to go next?
I would like to go next.
Rehan, fantastic. Go ahead.
Okay. So today's topic is, should boys and girls of all ages be encouraged to play video games? I agree 95% and disagree 5%. So I agree 95% because video games improves our brain function and also problem solving ability, and some other video games improve split-second decisions and multitasking. I disagree 5% because some games are violent. So if you can play, it's all right, but if you get addicted to it, you will think of doing some crazy stuff. So that's totally bad. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Rehan. And Risha, would you like to go next?
Yes.
All right. Go ahead.
I agree for this topic because there are many benefits of video games, so it should be encouraged. I'll just give 3 benefits for this topic. First one is, video games improves the ability of solving problems and helps us to create quick decisions. It also helps to maintain the hand and eye coordination. Second is video games helps kids to make friends and the chance to lead. And the third is video games provide an opportunity to teach. The kids who knows much about a game can teach others how to play. But there is a harmful effect too. It is video games can cause many eye diseases because of using it too much. So that's what my opinion.
Great. Thank you very much, Risha. Nanda, would you like to go next?
Yeah, so in the first place, mostly girls don't play video games because they think that will make them more violent. And as most of the video games are bloody and so scary, they are scared to play these games. So, but no one looks at the hidden part of video games. Video games mostly improve your courage, gives you confidence to face something more dangerous, and also it improves your problem solving, and then it also gives you strength to face anything that is so hard for you. So my conclusion is that all girls, boys of all the ages have to be able to play video games.
Great. Thank you very much, Nanda. And Tisumi, would you like to go next?
I also agree and disagree with this topic because there are a lot of benefits of video games. Like it helps you to teaches you to make decisions, and as Risha said, it helps you to maintain your eye and hand coordinations. Like there are a lot of beneficial effects of video games, and there are a lot of beneficial video games that help you learn more, that help you learn languages, help you improve your vocabulary. But then again, I feel like video games are something you do as a hobby. It's not exactly compulsory or it's something like you should do. It's like a hobby. So if you want to do it, then sure. But if you don't want to do it, that's also fine. So it's not something like you should be encouraged to do. Like do it, do it. I feel like now video games are one of those things you shouldn't go overdose with. So you should have this limit where you stop at one limit. It's okay if it's beneficial games, but as Rehan mentioned, there's violent video games. So if you go overdose with those video games, it's going to be a big problem. So I agree and disagree with this topic. I really don't feel like you should be encouraged to play video games. But if you like it, then okay. If you don't like it, that's also okay. Like it's like a hobby to me.
Great. Thank you very much, Tisumi. And Abdullah, would you like to go next?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Okay, I mostly agree with this and I only disagree a little bit. Because the thing is, games don't always have to be the mainstream definition of a game, like an FPS game or those violent games. Games can be almost anything. And also gamification of educational things are on the rise. A prime example of this is the field of coding, where there are so many tools to learn coding. It's so much easy. It's so much more accessible now. There is Scratch, you have Snap, and you have Microsoft's Make Code. All these things, they make programming visual, so it's really accessible for everyone. And the same applies for anything in education, really, because almost anything can be gamified. And that makes education really, really fun when it is gamified. And so I think, yes, but it also depends on a type of game. If it's those violent games, then I think it should be age restricted. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Abdullah. And Hisara, would you like to go next?
Yes, miss, thank you. Playing games has always helped us in being active, energetic, and healthy. But video games are not like that. Most of online games are not programmed on an educational basis. Such online games are good for the brain and help with real-world problem solving. Also, it's a fun and sociable way to spend time encouraging teamwork and developing skills. But there are some risks associated with online games other than the costs, such as online game addiction, contact with strangers, physical body impact on neck, eyes, hands, and brain. Therefore, I suppose boys and girls of all ages should not be encouraged to play video games.
Thank you, Hesara. And Azima, would you like to go next? If any of you would like to go next, you can use the raise your hand option, or you can. Azima, you'd like to go next? Azima, you're on mute.
I disagree with this topic because video games can become an addiction, and especially for young ones, it will distract our studies. I'm not a big fan of video games, so thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Azima. And next, Amy, would you like to go next?
Yes, Miss.
Go ahead.
So I also agree and disagree in this topic as most of you did. First of all, yes, because sometimes it can help our personality development by providing us courage and passion to do things. Also, it can be applied for our education. For example, teachers can make worksheets using them so that it can make us practice our learning. No, because the children will be addicted to video games from their small age, which is not a good thing at all. Their brain will automatically be malfunctioned and we'll have robots in our future generations. Also, when they grow up, they'll start getting various problems and diseases. They lose their imaginary skills, the skills of learning. Sometimes when they try to concentrate on their studies, they can't because there's video games, the villain distracting them. As to me, I've never tried video games and I don't want to either. We might think that they may help us in releasing stress and solving all the challenges, but we can try some physical exercises and solve puzzles to release our stress. What happens with video games is it makes us depressed and hurried. So I disagree. But in this topic, I mostly disagree because it can make children depressed, which is not a good thing at all. Mostly I disagree with this topic. Over to you, Miss.
Great. Thank you very much, Amy. So as of now, we have some of you agreeing that boys and girls should be encouraged to play video games. Some disagree. And then there are some of you who say 50 and 50, say it's 50-50. So not bad. I think we're having a very interesting discussion. Who would like, Shimar, would you like to go next? Shimar, you're on mute.
Yeah, I agree to this topic and disagree because we can give every age, boys and girls, to play this video game. That video games have advantages and the same time they have disadvantages as well. By also, video games are used for companies like airlines, for pilots, beginners. They use video games to start. And then the worst side is they will get addicted. So the video game is depend on you. So I totally agree and disagree. So you see, everyone can play video game. The choice is yours.
Great. Thank you very much, Shimar. And who would like to go next? Oh, and now everybody has fallen silent. Oh dear. Right, let's see who else has. Zakir, would you like to go next?
Okay.
Go ahead.
I agree with this statement that children should be encouraged to play video games regardless of age or gender, because it can be an outlet for learning new skills. Okay, fine. Maybe like a 50-50, because you don't want children learning how to shoot each other. But like, for example, video games like Need for Speed, it teaches like driving cars, but there should be like limitations. For example, not allowing children to play violent games like GTA or Call of Duty, going through sort of like tests, I guess, because video games can cause aggression, but usually it's in the fault of the person who purchased the video game, and people need to learn how to control themselves.
Yeah, very, very true, Zakir. Thank you. And let's see who else hasn't gone. Huda, would you like to go next?
Yes, so I think sometimes people might be able to play video games because some video games help your memory and your mind and help you think quick, and sometimes it relaxes you, but also some video games make you violent. And if grown-ups also watched video games and got addicted to it as quick as children do, then I think the whole world might be in war because of all the grown-ups being violent. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Great. Thank you very much, Huda. And would Navija, would you like to go next?
Okay, so I agree and disagree because I think most of my friends started playing games at about when they reached school, but I've played games since I was 2 years old, so I'm really addicted to it. So speaking of normal games, I started first my cousins are the ones who taught it to me. Then so the first ones I saw was really violent, like killing and all stuff like that. And one day, I stopped playing those kind of games this year, really, because one of my friends who plays GTA 5 just like was addicted to it, and he was telling how they kill people, and that really got me scared. So after that, I've been playing a game which it's like an educational game. It gives you survival skills, and so when I was about like 5 years old, I was always thinking, how can sand be made? So after playing that game, I really learned how they make both sands, glass, and so many stuff like that. But I really don't think everyone should play it. Before I just stopped playing violence game, my little sister came and just she saw a killing scene and she just started crying and went going all around telling everybody. That really made me not embarrassed, it just made me sad, because so I'm not telling everyone should be encouraged to play it, but if you like, you can. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Navija. And let's see who else hasn't gone as yet. Sarah, would you like to go next?
Okay. I think video games are good because my sister hates she hates reading and learning new words. So my mom found this new game for her, and she used to. It was a game where she had to make sentences on her own, and like after playing that game for a few hours, I think she took a book and she just started reading it, and she didn't struggle that much, and she read it really fast, faster than she would usually do. But at the same time, I don't think video games are good and should be encouraged, because there are certain games like Call of Duty, I think, where people shoot and kill. Um, and that's not really friendly, because it's like, when you play a game, I think you get influenced by it. So it's like when you play those games where you shoot and things, I feel like when you get angry, you'll think it's okay to be abusive and hit people. So yeah, I don't think, like, I think video games should be encouraged, but only if they're educational and will help you in some way. But otherwise, I don't think video games should be encouraged. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Sarah. And is there anybody else who hasn't spoken as yet? If you haven't, you can raise your hand and I can give you a chance to speak. If you haven't spoken even once, please do raise your hand. Azima, did you speak? Yes, you did. You did. Great. Nikshaya, you did speak, isn't it?
Yes, Miss, I spoke.
All right. So in that case, that leaves us with me. And I guess now it's my turn to tell you what I think of this topic. So I think I agree with a lot of the points that most of you all said. It's really 50-50. Because when you talk about video games, there's a very stereotypical way of looking at it. Video games are bad, they're violent, they don't help in education. But the truth is, especially since we live in the 21st century, there are a number of video games that have been designed to help you with education, in terms of education, to learn things better, to improve your critical thinking skills. And you can't deny the fact that you can learn a good number of skills from playing video games. I'll give you an example. So my brother is 7.5 years younger than me. And when he plays video games, one thing that I've noticed about him is that he has a very strategic mind. He knows exactly how he needs to do things very strategically, which I don't have. And he can think very critically as well, which again is something I can't do. And I tried playing video games with him, but unfortunately, I can't understand what's happening. It's completely Greek to me. But that being said, acknowledging the fact that there are good things about playing video games, I think, as many of you all very correctly pointed out, there's also the dark side of it, where it can lead to a lot of problems. You can get addicted to it, for starters. And then, like you said, one of you all said that you can be influenced by video games. And if it influences you in a negative way, that is not going to be good. And when you get addicted to